Hello, kitty cats, and welcome back to another episode of Tales and Tassels, the show where you pounce into the lives of burlesque and nightlife performers, their craft, their cats, and the ways the two worlds intertwine. I'm your host, Gemma Smith. By day, I work in animal welfare, and by night, I host the Catbaret, New York City's cat-themed variety show. Before we jump into today's episode, a quick podcast update. We have just 3 episodes left in Season 2, including this one, and I'm so excited about how we're wrapping things up. If you're listening the week this drops, Catbaret is happening tonight in New York City. There's still a few seats available, and we also have a virtual ticket option. The live stream replay is available for 7 days. So if you're hearing this within the first week of March, you can grab a $10 ticket and watch the whole show from anywhere. I'll put that link in the show notes. And now on to today's conversation. Every once in a while on Tales and Tassels, I bring in a special expert guest outside of the performer world. Someone who can help us take better care of the cats we love. Weruva is the presenting sponsor for Catbaret, and I'm so grateful for their support of the show and Rescue NYC, the meowsing nonprofit we partner with. Today, I'm joined by Amy Dudley from Weruva to talk about feline nutrition in a way that feels realistic, empowering, and not overwhelming. We're getting into what it actually means that cats are obligate carnivores, why hydration matters so much, wet food versus dry food, how to make thoughtful nutrition choices within your budget, and a little bit about the story behind Weruva itself. This is a practical, judgment-free conversation designed to help you feel confident caring for your kitty cats, our children. All right, let's get into today's interview with our special expert guest. Amy, thanks so much for chatting with me today.
Well, thanks for having me. I feel special and honored.
You are special, and so are our listeners, because they're going to learn a lot about feline nutrition. But first off, I just want to thank you so much and thank Weruva for sponsoring Catbaret. You're really helping us make our show possible, and I'm just so appreciative. So thank you.
Yes, no, we are very happy you reached out last year, and it's local to me, so I was like, of course, I would love to do this, and it took very little to no convincing to sponsor it.
I love to hear it. So for our listeners, can you start by telling us a little bit about your role and journey at Weruva and what your day-to-day looks like?
Oh my gosh, my day-to-day. Okay, so I'm Amy Dudley, and I've been with Weruva since 2018. So I just hit this month, February, my 8 years. I started as a sales rep on the road. So I was going out to your local stores in Long Island, Manhattan, Brooklyn, Connecticut, Massachusetts, upstate, going to individual stores, independently run stores, selling them Weruva product, educating them, supporting them however I could, being like their little business partner on the Weruva side. And I did that until the end of 2023. Where I switched over to the role I'm in now, which is the social media gal, I like to call it. And I've been doing that plus donations, philanthropy, and events and influencers. So,
my goodness, you wear so many hats. That's so interesting. I bet your day-to-day is very busy.
It is very busy, and honestly, it changes a lot depending on the needs of the week or the day. We could have something crazy like a fire in the Palisades come through, and then all of a sudden we're trying to ship cat food and dog food out to them on my donation side. I could wake up one morning and an influencer popped into my inbox, like, I don't know, Merv the cat. And he's like, hey, my cat eats the food. And I'm like, magawa. Ham. And so I have to deal with that. And then sometimes it's literally just responding to people on Instagram. If you've ever reached out to Weruva on Instagram, hi.
It's
me.
One person.
It's one person. And when I'm sick, my boss has to be it. So if you ever feel a little like, that's not Amy, it's my boss, but she's very nice.
So you are also very much a creative cat lover because it takes a creative to do all of these things.
Yes, very much so. Cat creative, dog creative, internet creative. My own personal Instagram is very entertaining, I like to say, to the masses. And yeah, I just constantly have, I think I just got through 2 terabytes of videos and of dogs and cats only on my phone.
Well, you're in the right place on this podcast because we love all animals. It's a cat
Yeah.
podcast, but I love dogs too, for sure. And for our listeners who may not know the story of how Weruva came about, the name is really cute. It's actually inspired, I'm sure you're going to tell it, by a few special kitties. So can you
Yes.
share how and when was Weruva founded?
So we are actually in our 20th year. So back in 2006, David and Stacy Foreman, which are our co-founders and our current family that owns it wholeheartedly, they found a rescue cat on the side of the street in Midtown Manhattan, took it inside, promptly gave it the best food that like the local shop said down the block. This is the best food. This is the best food. And the cat, who ended up being named Rudy, lifted his nose to it and was like, I don't want any of that. So David was like, well, you know what smells really good? This can of tuna. So we opened a can of tuna for humans, and the cat went bonkers. So he had like this great idea with Stacy, his wife. He's like, why don't we make people food for pets, where it's like ingredients you can see versus like, they like to call it mystery mush, like that cat like look mystery mush, being able to identify what's in their food, the cat being able to recognize it through smell and taste. And so during that first year, they actually rescued 2 more cats named Webster and then Vanessa. And actually, these guys right here, I know, right? So this is Rudy. He's orange. This is Vanessa. She has a little messed up eye. She was black. And then Webster here. So it's Webster, Rudy, Vanessa, Weruva.
Perfect. I'm glad I've been saying it correctly. I was very sure about that. I was like Googling, and then I learned the story and I said, okay, Weruva, that makes sense.
Weruva. Yeah. I mean, we're called a lot of things, Weruva, Werovia, the silly name one, all sorts of stuff.
But as long as it's those good ingredients that those cats and people recognize. Now, before we get into more about feline nutrition, because you're someone who's creative, you're in marketing, you're social media, a lot of us are performers and it's that algorithm, it's a hard nut to crack. And so what advice do you have regarding balancing storytelling with educating folks about the pet food or just, that kind of social media part?
So as far as Weruva goes, we've always kind of held back. I like to call us humble, where we just kind of stay in the background. We're not advertising all the time on, TV, Super Bowl, we all saw that wonderful ad from a different brand. We just kind of hang in the background, and that's been Weruva's social media game as well. We've never actually had someone running our social media as it stands. So when I came on into the marketing team, customer engagement team is actually what it's called here, that's when we really pushed off, and we had to find our balance because we were very gung-ho about, okay, well, it has to be branded Weruva. It has to have the food in it. It has to have education that's based only with a solution in Weruva. And we kind of found that our audience was actually more store owners, other industry-leading people, and then there was the people who love our food because of how their cats are, or their dogs too. Yeah, so our audience kind of told us from the beginning when we started, hey, this is not really content that we want to share with our families, our our customers, or even, something that it just wasn't relatable enough. And I think what is really stand out about Weruva is the relatability to us and our names and our type of food, like Funk in the Trunk, Kitty Gone Wild, like all these fun names. And it's like, well, here's what looks like corporate Weruva, and it was not it. It was not it. So
makes total sense,
right? Like, there are brands out there that need to be corporate, but we do anything from memes, trending sounds, influencers, working with rescues. Like, we are all over the place. And we also do have like a lot of education in there that is steeped in the basic customer, the basic human that opens a can of our food and pours it in. So everything that we put out there has to be in their eyes, is where I try and focus all of our posts and shares and influencers and all that. Like, they're very curated. It's very curated, and sometimes it's last minute. Like Squirrel, we had Squirrel Arena Ballerina recently, which went like 500,000 on TikTok, and I was like, random, okay. So, and then we have educational stuff like this month in March, coming up is Kidney Month. So we're going to be doing a whole campaign on kidney health for cats and dogs.
And that's so important. And your social media is so engaging. So it'll all be linked in the show notes, but you all have to follow Weruva if you're not already, okay?
Please come follow us so I can keep my job.
Yes, we want Amy to keep her job. No, you're doing a fantastic job. And now for our listeners, we're going to move a little more into that nutrition for everyone who has cats. We love our cats. We want them to be healthy. We want them to feel their best. Sometimes they're picky eaters and it can be a struggle. But first off, we hear that cats are obligate carnivores. So what is that actually? Can you break that down? What does that actually mean?
Yeah, so obligate carnivore in basic terms just means cats are obligated to eat meat. There is no sufficient way to make your cat healthy without meat-based protein. And that's because very specifically and scientifically, cats are missing an enzyme in their mouths called amylase. And amylase is, I always like to remind people, it's spelled Amy Lays down next to cats, amylase.
I'll remember it.
Forever now. And that is in our saliva, our digestive tract, and all the way down through the end. And that helps us break down carbohydrates. Cats don't have that. They literally don't have that. So they're not processing carbs. So when you're getting like a pea protein, that pea protein isn't sufficient enough for them. So obligate carnivore is just your cat is obligated to eat meat-based protein.
I'm so glad to reiterate that on this podcast because a lot of folks who love animals maybe are vegetarian or vegan in their own life, but we can't also pass that to our cats. They need to eat meat.
Yeah, it's a struggle. I see a lot of cat owners who are vegan and they're just like, they plug their nose and they like open the can and they're like, I can't look at it, but it's for my cat.
Yeah. But we know we're doing what's right for them. And how should that influence the way that we think about feeding them? Like, how is there a certain amount of protein or just making sure it's an animal-based product?
So, number one, the best thing you can possibly do nutrition-wise for your cat is feed a wet food diet. You can do it exclusively, which is probably the best thing for your cat. But we know out of convenience, out of cost, out of, a lot of different factors where people will feed kibble exclusively. So we try and guide people, not just Weruva, but the nutrition industry tries to guide people to feed their cats a wet food diet first and foremost that is high in meat-based protein. That's the number one thing you can possibly do to keep your cat healthy and moving along in their life as thriving and not just surviving.
Love that. And then that moves us actually on to hydration a little more. But I have a personal question just because I have two cats.
Yeah.
Lionel and Luna. Lionel's on a prescription because he's had urinary blockages. And I add water to the food to make sure he's peeing and extra hydrated. But Luna, she has allergies and asthma, so she's on a novel protein diet, but she scarfs and barfs. So I hate it. We spread out kibble because we found she also eats some of Lino's food, which is probably not great, but it doesn't bother her allergies, we've noticed. And we're glad she's getting some wet food with water. But yeah, what do you like? A food puzzle, a slow feeder I should try?
So are you saying that she only scarfs and barfs wet food, or she'll do it with kibble as well, if it's like in a pile?
She'll do it. If it's in a pile, we have to spread it out on a big paper plate on the floor.
Yeah. Oh, poor baby.
But we want to feed her more wet food.
Yeah.
She vomits more when we feed her exclusively wet food.
Yeah. And so that kind of also goes back to kind of scientifically how cats are, in the sense where cats are opportunistic eaters. So when the food is there, their natural instinct is to eat as much of it as they can because they don't know when the next one is going to come. Right? So it's not her being starved. It's just her mindset, her brain. She's maybe is 5 decades behind in the pull from being a fully domesticated cat. Who knows?
She's a little slower than my life.
Yeah, she hasn't moved a little bit further
She
like
chases her
him.
tail.
Bless. And like good for her. But as far as like opportunistic eating, it's just ingrained in them that that's where they're going to get their food at that time, and it's also where they're going to get their moisture as well. They don't have a thirst drive like we do. And we can talk about that. But your cat is basically just knows it needs to eat what it can now because it doesn't know when the next meal is coming. So if you think of like a cat out, like a street cat even out here in New York, a mouse might run by, they'll grab it, they'll eat it. Are they going to sit around and wait for, a bird? Are they going to wait around for, a cockroach? Like, they're going to eat what's in front of them, and they're going to eat it as if it's their last meal. So that's where we get a lot of that kind of drive to want to scarf down. And so as far as I would suggest is I would actually move out to being like, if you're at home and able to increase the amount of times you feed her, but the same amount of food. So the frequency helps rewire that brain to be like, you know what? I know she's coming back with another spoonful.
Yes, and I work from home. I can do it.
Yeah, and so and you can start very small. Like you could start with like just a tablespoon, and then walking away and coming back and another tablespoon when that one's done, and putting it in a regular bowl, adding some water to it, of course, and then continuing on through that. So if you want her to get, let's say, 6 ounces of pollock and chicken a day, spread that out into 6 meals.
Hey, kitty cats. If you love Tails and Tassels, you'll purr over our next live show. Catbaret, a cat lady purr tea, is happening Wednesday, March 5th at Caveat in New York City. It's a night of cat-themed comedy, music, and burlesque, or as we like to call it, purlesque, celebrating the cat lady energy in all of us. Grab your tickets and join the community at catbaretshow.com. That's catbaretshow.com. See you there. Nice. I love that. Thank you so much. This is really helping me to and inspiring
No
me to
problem.
be a better cat mom.
You are already a perfect cat mom, and even the guilt that we feel when we find out new information or find new ideas or learn something new about our pets and our care, a lot of people have that remorse, that guilt. Like, oh, I've been feeding my cat this, and oh, I've been doing it wrong. And it's not. You are providing a home where a cat could possibly be on the street, possibly be euthanized. Like, that guilt needs to get out of there.
Yeah, we're all doing our best, and we give other people grace, so we've got to give ourselves grace.
Correct. Yes.
Yes. Okay, so you've already kind of mentioned this. Some easy ways folks can increase moisture in their cat's diet, maybe adding a little water to the wet food.
Yeah. Yeah, so a fountain is great. Yeah, a fountain is great. I have tried fountains with my previous cats. Sadly, I'm not a pet parent of any cats right now. I lost both of my cats last year to different forms of cancer. One was 18 and one was 16. No,
I'm so
14.
sorry.
Yeah,
So
thank
sorry.
you. Yeah, Mittens and Bubby. But I actually have a feral foster in my house right now.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
exciting. What's
Yeah,
your name?
Her name was Lil Polly, but I changed it to Snooky.
Oh, yeah, we're going Jersey Shore. I love it.
Snooky is here. She's like, where's the beach? She's constantly trying to leave. She has a chair. Like, it's Snooky. And yeah, so none of my cats previously or this cat have any desire to drink from a fountain. And the reason why fountains are popular is because the movement of the water is what encourages them to come closer and inspect. Because as before, I said, cats don't have that thirst drive, right? We run a mile or you run up and down your stairs. I see you in your little workout videos. Like, we have that, that drive to have water, moisturize. We have that, I drank a bottle of tequila last night. I need to hydrate today.
Sure
Cats
thing.
don't have that drive. Scientifically, they think they're going to get their moisture from their meat. Because if you think about a mouse, going back to that, kind of like us, 90% water.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
The moisture in the meat is where they think it is. So we encourage them with fountains because of the movement to be like, huh, what is this? And then they're like, oh, it's some water. I guess I'll drink this.
Yes. Okay, that makes total sense.
Yeah, and
So
as far as, like, drinking standard water, it's really hard for cats. I like to compare it to, like, a spoon no, ladle and a, popsicle stick, right? So a
mm,
dog has a ladle tongue, so when it goes down, it actually scoops backwards, throws it into its mouth, drinks it. Cats have, just basically a straight tongue, kind of curves every once in a while, but really it's just straight up and down, and they can only get little tiny droplets on their little things on their tongue, right? And so it's basically just sticking like a popsicle into water and then just whatever's left they suck on it and that's what they get as moisture. So it's really hard for cats to stay fully hydrated at all times. I like to think like constantly if I'm a cat or if I have a cat in my possession or my care, that cat is chronically dehydrated. Even if they drink water, even if they have wet food, even if I add water, always, 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 the mindset is my cat is dehydrated.
and we can really tell if we're gonna get a little uh graphic here through their bowel movements. You can tell when a
Correct.
cat is constipated, it's harder pellets. In the animal
Mhm.
welfare world, it's like a fecal score one. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I know
But
what you're talking about, yeah.
yes, yes, yes.
How's that new job going for you?
Yes, yes.
Uh,
But, that's another way, like, I recall, like, my cats, often their stools are a little harder, and I think, "Oh my gosh,
yeah.
we gotta get more water."
Yeah, and it's also, a big thing with animal people, and when they say, "Oh, I don't want a cat because they smell, their litter box is gross," it's like, if your cat has a strong urine smell, it's because they are dehydrated. Just
Mhm.
like us, the more water we drink, we look at our own pee, I'm sorry to be graphic, but and if
Me
we
too.
notice that it's very dense and yellow, we know that we're dehydrated. We know it. So we know the clearer the water, the clearer the urine, the more hydrated I am.
I feel like this is a really good takeaway for this episode for all of our listeners. This is
Everybody
it
look at
so
pee.
far. No, I mean I mean that that cats are chronically dehydrated, but that too, just
Yeah.
being more aware of that.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm. Yeah.
so if someone is feeding primarily dry, say for them it's because of budget,
Mhm.
what are some small, realistic things that they could do, um, to help their cats?
Yeah. So, if you're feeding only dry and it's because of cost, I would encourage lickable treats, little soups, bisques. A lot of stores have deals where it's like buy 12, get 10% off, or, and just adding some of that liquid as if it's a snack, right? And you're gonna add as much liquid as you can. Obviously getting a water fountain, but also making sure that whatever water bowl you have, it's filled all the way up to the top. Nothing where your cat has to dip down into it because of whisker tension, whisker stress. So they won't lick it as also as high as you can get it is best.
That's why my one cat, Lionel, who never really drinks water, whenever I have a cup full of water, I love it when I see him start drinking from it. I'm just so happy. I'm like,
Right?
"Yes." And then I leave out more cups, and then he doesn't care.
And then all of a sudden it's, your this what is it? This no signs, the movie Signs. I'm not Shyamalan, and you have all the glasses everywhere full of
Ex
water. You're like,
Come in my
oh.
house, and you'll knock over a glass of water.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean that's a real big issue with some cats. And you can even see videos all the time. Oh, my cat's so weird. He's licking the drips from the sink or he's licking the flat like puddle off of the ground. Or he dips his paw in and then licks his paw. And it's probably because of that stress that they feel. Some are more sensitive and some are just like in their face, but you know.
So that's a sign that, yeah, your cat is thirsty or is
Mhm.
dehydrated and needs to drink.
Yeah, yeah, and, like, we can't ignore the fact that your cat might be thirsty, right? And that kind of goes back to, like, how kibble is. Kibble is required by AFCO, which is a whole 'nother story, the governing body that controls what we can and cannot put in cat food and on the label. Um, they require salt be added, and salt is meant to encourage drinking.
Okay.
And so it kind of drives that, like, that thought of, "Oh, I'm thirsty," to them to go get some more water. And that's why, kidney care type stuff that you're on prescription is kibble, even though that's basically the opposite of what they should be eating. That has a lot of salt in it too, and so much salt that that's why it's considered a prescription diet is because it's not meant for just regular cats to eat.
Yes. Okay. That is it. The hydrolyzed protein.
So
That
hydrolyzed protein is more for cats who have difficulty processing their food. It's basically almost like pre-digested. So it's hydrolyzed just means it's broken down protein so that your cat or your dog doesn't have to work so hard to get the nutrients that it needs.
Wow, there's so many. There's so many different types. Thank God that this pet food industry is so amazing, and like
I
you're
know.
you are so knowledgeable. Tell us more. So my Lion-O, he's on Royal Canin SO. So we're just trying to encourage him to, and it's wet, thankfully.
It's wet
But
food. Okay.
but one day he might have to be on kidney care. A lot of cats
Mhm.
end up. So
Yeah,
tell us
yeah.
a little bit about the kidney food, and you have special treats too. The phosphorus, they're
We
like.
have an entire line.
Ah.
Yeah, we have an entire line dedicated to low phosphorus. And so, long story short, as far as like cats with kidney issues or urinary tract infections, the easiest way to remember if your cat is constantly getting crystals or stones or piss and blood, sorry, um,
It's okay.
it's true, is to think the solution to pollution is dilution. Kidneys are filters. And so, if we're pumping stuff into those kidneys that can't be processed as easily, and then we don't have the water to help flush it through, those kidneys are up against a losing battle. They are not going to be able to function correctly or at their height. So, if you think about kibble coming through, it's not being broken down by amylase, it's hitting the kidneys to be processed out, all the stuff that the body doesn't need, carbohydrates, salts, etc. And then that kidney is having difficulty processing it. And then finally, what comes out is enough, but then your kidneys are basically polluted. Their kidneys are polluted. And so, what prescription diets do, wet ones, is it encourages more drinking. So, there's salt going to be in that SO. But it's going to have less ingredients that need to be filtered through the kidney so that it'll just kind of move through the system. And that's kind of why it's a prescription, is because normal food needs to go through and all be processed and all be moved out versus we're trying to give your cat, well, not us, the prescription food is trying to give your cat a break. So like phosphorus, magnesium, calcium, that's what crystals are made of. That's what kidney stones are made of. And so if you have a food that's higher in those three minerals, your kidneys are going to be polluted with those three minerals because it can't move them out as quickly. And so the WX line, Weruva's Phosphocus line, is the lowest phosphorus we could be on the market. But everything else in the food is highly digestible, highly movable through the body, and still adheres to what AFCO calls an adult diet, a complete diet. But because our phosphorus is so low, like lower than the food you're feeding, way lower, we're actually considered a supplemental feed. Because if we wanted it to be an adult cat formula, we'd have to go into the prescription where a vet would have to assign it. But we said, no. We know our food is complete, but it's not balanced because of that low phosphorus count. And so we avoid what happens with a lot of prescription foods, which is where there are, cheaper cuts of meat. It's mechanically processed, or it's not even processed mechanically. So like for us, tilapia is the lowest phosphorus fish on the market. It already naturally is very, very low in phosphorus. We hand fillet the tilapia for the tilapia ones. And then we have chicken. We use white breast meat chicken. We don't use any dark cuts of meat of chicken because that's going to have more ash, which is phosphorus, magnesium, calcium. And so we use those really nice cuts of meat, but then it still is too much phosphorus for us. We're like,
Okay.
we need to cut it even more. So instead of cutting the meat protein out, we supplemented in liquid egg white.
Wow.
So where prescription foods might go is, okay, yeah, it's too much protein, tilapia and chicken, too much protein because no matter what you cook down protein-wise, there's going to be some ash, right? There's going to be, if you think about like cooking on a grill, there's going to be ash from your chicken breast left over.
Uh-huh.
And that's phosphorus, magnesium, calcium. So they go, you know what? Instead of going for something that's healthier, like liquid egg whites, we're just going to put in pea protein.
Hmm.
We're going to put in
Ah,
something else that's protein.
that's not good.
Pea protein is a great example because it's just cheaper. It's a cheaper way for pet food brands to make lower phosphorus food. But what's sacrificed is the meat protein that they need.
Well, you are inspiring me to look into ordering some of your your low phosphorus food.
I will get you some. But yeah, and so like we have always believed and started as a company that's based in the science of the cat and what that cat needs to thrive. And that's that obligate carnivore. They need meat, they need their water, and then they need low phosphorus. And so the easiest way to cut phosphorus out of a diet is to hand debone and hand fillet, because bone is made of phosphorus, magnesium, and calcium.
So real people are
Mhm.
that, you don't think of that.
And they're
Yeah.
unionized. They're unionized people. So they're like not some like slave trade or anything like that. They
No.
are fillayers. Like
This
they
is
could be in
their jam.
competitions. It is their jam. It is their life.
There could be a reality show or something.
Probably,
I don't know. It's a new
right? Yeah.
idea.
Ooh. I'll go talk to David. I'll be like, David.
Okay, this is so helpful. Now, for folks who are at the pet store, and you were talking a lot about ingredients, so I feel like we're already learning a lot. But when someone flips over a can, reads the ingredient list, it sounds like the things they should be looking for are the type of protein that's in there, right? If it's
Yep.
real meat.
Yep.
Anything else that should pop out as a green flag or a red flag?
Yeah. So, number one, if you're in the aisle and you want to feed wet, and the cheapest wet food you can afford is Fancy Feast, Friskies, Caesar's dog, but Sheba, and that's what you can afford. Instead of getting a lot of kibble, buy it. Don't even flip the can around. Don't look at it. Just feed it, because you're number one going to help your cat just by getting a moist diet into their rotation. You're already cutting about half of your vet costs out just by getting that moisture in. So don't be like, oh, well, I need the highest quality. I need the, $10 a can. I don't think that exists, but it might.
It could.
For my
yeah.
cat, the first thing is just get a wet food diet in there. And then if you have the time, the ability to do some research on your own about brands or ask an employee, independent pet stores are so knowledgeable about nutrition, in the sense of like, mom and pop store over here, they'll be able to tell me, hey, this is a better food than this one. So asking them for advice too is always great. But then when if you want to do it on your own, you have your headphones in, you're jamming, you got your cat tree, and you're looking at the can, you want the best for your cat. The first thing you want to look for is a meat-based protein in the ingredient label. It does not have to be first.
Okay.
A lot of people look at the ingredient list and they go, oh, well, it says water first. So this can is mostly water. And it's like, yeah, but guess what? The chicken that's right below it had water in it too. Like, like the weight. So that's where AFCO comes in and they tell us how that has to be. So sometimes a few years ago, actually, AFCO said to the pet food companies, hey, water is heavier than your meat. So water needs to come first in your ingredients label. Did we change anything? No. It's kind of like peanut butter and jelly sandwich, jelly and peanut butter sandwich.
I
It's the
see.
same sandwich. It's just some old man decided that we needed to have it that way, and everybody else needed to have it that way.
And what does AFCO stand for? Oh, it's okay if you don't know. I just thought maybe I should ask.
American Animal Association
A lot of
food. Yeah, it's they say what every animal should and should not eat and what is allowed. So a cow, what a cow needs to eat. A
Oh,
chicken,
even
what a chicken
farm.
needs to eat.
Oh,
Technically, right now, cats and dogs are considered feed animals. They're supposed to be fed a feed. And so the industry itself is way faster than AFCO is with our meat-based proteins and our, low carbs or our low phosphorus. AFCO doesn't really care about that. It's basically a cow, a chicken, a cat, a dog, a rat. Like they're all under the same kind of banner in the sense where it's a feed. So they're not looking at choice proteins or unique proteins or novel or anything. They just say, okay, your dogs need this amount of protein, this amount of carbs, this amount of moisture, these vitamins to be a complete diet. There you go, pet food manufacturer. Create it how you will.
Okay. So they're
You
just
know,
regulating those basic guidelines.
basic guidelines to when we as manufacturers get to kind of interpret the word chicken.
Hmm.
Like there's a little thing in AFCO where it's like, this is a great example. I'm sorry to get a little bit off on a tangent on AFCO, but so to AFCO in their little 700-page book, the definition of chicken is a clean combination of flesh and skin with or without accompanying bone. So if your cat food label says the word chicken on it, it means that in that food there is a clean combination of flesh and skin with or without accompanying bone. So if you think about it, there's a lot of gray.
Hmm.
And chickens have a lot of gray. Does that mean that it's 10% skin, 90% bone?
Oh,
Does
yeah.
that mean that it's all white meat chicken? Does it mean it's half and half for this batch and then it's
Mm.
less for this batch?
Yeah, it's not
And then
created equal.
it's not created equal. And then on top of that, if there's alternatives of what you are changing, does that mean that your vitamins and minerals are different?
Yeah.
Like dark meat is higher in moisture than white meat is. We all go for the dark meat at Thanksgiving of a turkey because it's more moist than the dry parts of the turkey. So it's like there's this nuance, there's this gray area that brands can live in without repercussion. We don't like that.
Yeah, I
We
can.
don't like to live
You
in that.
sounds like Weruva is here to create quality food.
Correct.
Yes,
Correct.
the best that we can.
Yeah.
But I love that you are here to say, hey, look, if you're on a budget and you're in the pet store, just get the wet food and know that you're doing that. And I think that's really helpful for folks not to be hard on themselves.
Yeah, I mean, people will look at our prices on we have over 450 SKUs. It's like people will look at some of our prices and be like, Amy, I can't afford that. And I'm like, no problem, babe. What can you
Yeah.
afford? Let's go through the grocery aisle. What's at Walmart for you? No problem. I'll find you a good food in Walmart.
Oh, I love that. And I'm imagining you've worked, I think you said for Weruva 8 years. And I know I saw your LinkedIn. You worked in animal stuff before. Like, man,
Since I was like 15. Yeah.
Yes. But I wonder if working in nutrition changed the way that you feed your pets.
Definitely. I started out, very gung-ho when I was a kid with we had border collies growing up, no cats, but kibbles and bits was a big thing, and I loved that I made sure that there was always one carrot looking thing, one corn looking thing, one pea looking thing, 'cause they're all shaped and pushed together. And then I was like, okay, my dog has its meal. And then as I grew up and I went into working at PetSmart and I got a little bit of nutrition there for the year and a half I was there when I was based out of Arizona, and I was like, oh, Blue Buffalo came on the scene with their life source spits. And I was like, genius, because the cooking process, right? If you're cooking a kibble, you lose the potency of your vitamins and minerals if you cook it at the temperature that the chicken needs to be at, or the duck needs to be at, or the beef. If you separate those vitamins and minerals and cook them separately in these life source bits, the potency is higher. Genius. I'm a Blue Buffalo. Blue Buffalo is my life now. I'm teaching everybody about Blue Buffalo. And then, to continue on through my career, I worked at Petco for 7 years. I did their overnights as well. So I was at the Union Square Petco for 2 years.
Here
Yeah.
in New York City. Okay, I live
Here
in
in New York
Bushwick, so
City.
I'm right off the L.
Right off of
so-
Union Square, yeah.
Yeah.
So the original one, which is actually an old Andy Warhol building, if you didn't know.
Oh, I didn't.
The old one, yeah. I was doing that, and then I was, looking at, bags of food that would bust open, and I'd smell them, and I'd be like, "Oh, that smells awful." And then there would be this other food where I'd love putting the bag of kibble away because it smelled like chicken. It smelled nice, and it was 3 a.m., and I was tired. Chicken. And, doing research on them and having brands come in to speak to us and do demos and events. And then I moved out of that and into selling some pet supplies for another company before moving on to Weruva. And I actually I didn't know what Weruva was when I applied.
Well, now you're that expert.
Yeah, right? So, like, I'm doing my research applying 8 years ago, and I'm just like, "Wait a second, this seems really familiar, this address on the label." And I go back and I'm thinking in my Petco days, and I'm like, "Solistic is manufactured for this label as well. What is this?" And actually, it's Weruva's partnership with Petco because Weruva didn't have the capacity to be in Petco at that time. So they created a line in partnership with Petco, and Solistic is sister with Solistic, everything.
Okay.
It is almost like a mimicked company. So, and we were suggesting Solistic at Petco because we were
Okay.
like, it's such a great food, like nutrition
Mhm.
wise, it's such a great food. And so then coming into Weruva, claiming it as our own, it now has a little Weruva label on it at Petco. It's now available online a lot of places. And yeah, it's just my mindset has grown and grown, and it still continues to grow to this day. I only got certified in nutrition, online training nutrition, within the last like 2 years. So I'm still constantly learning.
It's really inspiring. I knew there was a lot to learn, but still, it's like it is science too.
It's science. Yes,
It's science.
yes, yes. And a lot of it is like I'm learning things from people that are going to school for me, right? So we have a great store out in Connecticut called North Point Pets. Their owner, Nikki, went to like a master's college in Florida or Georgia for 2 years. Now she does speaking on nutrition. Um, and then you have one of our influencers that we work with, Feminist Kitty.
Hey, I'm sure I
You
follow some of that
probably
name.
do. She's
Okay.
like an industry disruptor because she'll be like, "Yeah, no, your vet's lying to you," and I love her to death.
Okay.
She's spicy, and she works with us because she understands and believes in our food and where we're going for, and she's actually going to get her, I think, doctorate in animal science nutrition. So it's like I'm learning from them as well all the time and asking them questions because I don't want to go to school. I'm sorry, I just don't.
I hear you. I don't want to go back to school.
This is a high school diploma, girl, okay? And I'm doing just fine.
Yes, you are like schooling us on feline nutrition.
It's okay. It's my
And you have
job.
a really fun, cool job.
I
For
do.
folks who want to find, like Weruva, I see it all
Mhm.
the time. It's in every pet store. So, right here in our listeners, if they're like, wait a minute, what's that brand? They can just go to their local pet store. And also, we're going to link in the show notes your
Yeah.
Instagram, your website.
Yeah. We're everywhere. So, like, we started out as independent only. We were in our little, mom and pop stores, and they helped us grow as a company. And we got to, meet their audience and what their audience's audience, and then that audience 20 years ago to now, what the difference is. So, we're in Amazon, Chewy, Petco, PetSmart, PSP, Pet Supplies Plus. We're up in Canada. We're in all the big major retailers, as well as we have our own direct to consumer on our website. So, going on to Weruva.com and clicking, buy now, you can buy now. And then we also grew our line by, I think it was almost 3 years ago, we acquired Cat Person, which was a online only
Oh
brand.
gosh, I didn't know Cat Person was under Weruva. Wow.
Yeah, it is now.
Familiar. I'm familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So because sorry, I just hit my knee, but before that, Cat Person was an online only brand. It was subscription based. You got your food delivered to you. And they were a unique subset that Weruva didn't have, like an audience we didn't have, which was online only and not Amazon or Chewy.
Mm. Okay.
Right? So
Mm-hmm.
if you think about who you are as a person who buys cat food, people are dedicated to their local independent. People refuse to go to a big box store. Some people are like, I go to Petco because that's where I could get my turtle food at the same time,
Yeah. Yeah.
or I can get my mice for my snake or whatever. And we can see cats for adoption and get my dog groomed. There's different reasons why people shop everywhere. Some people just want a subscription to just show up at their house. And that's not something that we had the capacity or knew how to do. So when we acquired Cat Person, we also acquired an all life stages food from them and a kibble, which is we've never done a kibble. We've been very anti-kibble.
Mm-hmm.
But if we think about how Weruva learns its audience, we have to accept that, yeah, people are going to feed kibble, and why not have a kibble that we believe in for those people, right?
Yeah, and
Instead of them
maybe it could
going off to a
be.
different brand
Mhm.
and being like, okay, well, this is the kibble I feed, but I feed Weruva canned. It's like, why not have them stay in our family and have
Yeah.
something that is of Weruva's quality? And so, yeah, Olive Cat Person is wholly owned by us now.
That's so cool. There are so many options out there for cat people. And as we were talking, I did notice your glasses. Do they have whiskers on the
They
side of
do.
them? They're so cute. Oh my God, I'm obsessed. For our listeners,
And
they
they,
look like cat ears. Paws inside the, what is that
yeah,
called?
I guess the
The
earpiece.
earpiece. Yeah.
And these are
Mhm.
transitions. So if it was dark in here or too bright in here, they would turn into sunglasses.
So their prescription.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, you are a
Yeah.
committed cat stylish person because
I have
we were
so
talking, you've got the La La Land cat. Yeah, what are your favorite? Here's just a fun question.
yeah.
What are your favorite like cat clothes and accessory brands?
Oh my gosh. So it actually started with this one brand who I hate to say it, but they stopped making clothing.
Who was
And it was
it?
called July Libe.
I didn't. I
And
don't know if I know.
they have bright colored patterns. So kind of like your shirt that you're wearing now where it's like this one is pink, yellow, green. I have it as a jumpsuit and then as just pants.
Ooh, jumpsuit. That's cool.
Yeah. And it's really strong cotton, but it's bright, it's bold, and no matter where I went, everybody was like, "Where did you get this? Where did you get this?" Even my husband bought, you know what? At the Halloween party, the
Yes.
Halloween beret,
Yeah.
my husband was wearing that jacket, that cat jacket.
Yeah.
That's July Libe. So we actually can match sometimes.
Obsessed
So
couples. And
that
such.
that was like my favorite one ever. And sadly they're from Germany and they did like limited runs and then they just decided to bail out. But I love Dressed in Lala as well. I have quite a few pieces from there. I love a good thrift store
Me too.
in the Southwest specifically.
Oh, interesting. I haven't spent a lot of time in this.
Yeah. So what's interesting, like Southwest, so like when we were at CatCon in Pasadena, we went up into like, the hills and stuff and went to all their thrift stores and then down in Arizona, New Mexico, Utah, Colorado, all those types of states. For some reason, they have a lot of good cat stuff. Like
Love it.
insane, like glasses as well, like drinking glasses, all sorts of stuff, knickknacks and all that kind of stuff down there.
I'm here
More
for it.
so than up here. Or maybe there is a lot here in the East Coast, but like it's probably all bought and people just
Yeah,
like
I was gonna say there's a
hoard
lot
it.
of
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of us
Yeah.
cat lovers that they're gonna scoop all that stuff up.
Yeah. And then my other one is Cider.
Yes.
Cider is a great brand for cat related looking stuff. It is kind of like a Shein though. Like
I
it's
have
not
one dress from there. Yeah, yeah.
I
It's
don't like to order from it, and I don't often, but when I do, I get a bunch of stuff all at once, so I'd never have to look at it again.
that's smart. Okay, I love that. All right. And then another what I have just a couple more questions for
Yeah.
you. I guess this is the last main one and then anything else that we want to share, but
Yeah.
I have all my guests give a tip for creative cat lovers. And it can
Mhm.
be the number one thing you want to leave us with, or it could just be something you haven't mentioned yet. It could have to do with your
Okay.
creativity or for just cat parents.
Um, I guess the most important thing I would take away from being a cat parent and being creative is never think you have enough photos.
Okay.
Never. Always take photos. Always take videos. Save them to buy more cloud space because the moment you lose them, all you want to do is go back and look at them. Or you want to get like a photo printed out and there's only like one good photo that you really, really love that's from like 6 years ago. Like the more photos you can take, the better. And I know a lot of us probably that listen to this also do like some side gigs of like cat sitting or which I just do. I do a lot of that like locally around here, is take tons of photos of those cats and send them to your friends or send them to your friends and your family and then the owners as well. And, just share cats. Just share them.
That's a wonderful message. I love
Yeah.
that. Yes, let's share cats. I'm going to take more videos of mine tonight.
You're like, oh, tonight I'm just.
I
Free
have
up
a
the
hard
cloud space.
I know. I do kind of worry. I'm the person who like will delete a duplicate. Oh, I have 2 of these photos. It's like, Gemma, chill out. You can afford $199 a month. Like,
I know, exactly. I'm like, and I'm the type of person that's like, okay, I have 2 of the exact same photo, but are they the real photo? And then
yeah, you're
look at like the details of it, and I'm like, well, this one is 0.0001 MB bigger than that one. Why? Is it because it's slightly different? Like, I need to keep them both.
yes, it's hard to get
Yeah.
rid of them. We have
Yeah.
to have all the photos of our babies.
Yeah. And then one other thing that has to do with photos
Yeah.
of your cats is if you share albums, if you have like shared albums of like with your friends of your cat, or like you and your husband with your cat,
Mhm.
Apple limits the size of those photos. So they're never their full quality.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
We do have a shared album, my husband and I, and we share
Yeah.
photos.
So like if you want to post that, for post a photo from like Catbaret and you have it in like a shared folder and you download it from there and you turn it up, it's not as great quality. Always put it in a cloud folder
Okay.
in files.
Ah.
And then you can always open them up. You can even like title them. You know how like in Apple photo and like general photos, it's like IMG underscore.
Yes.
This one, you can just like, if you upload all your photos into iCloud under file folders, and then you can name them, you can have folders separating them, years, days,
This is
titles,
good.
etc.
Yeah.
And they keep their size and quality.
Oh, that's good for our creatives. For like
Mhm.
not just our cat, like
Performers, yeah.
performers. You've got all these. It's so hard to get organized with all different
Yes.
shows. Then you got to go back through and share something on social media.
And it's like, oh, it was a 20-minute long set. I can't share that over the internet, but what you can do is put it in the cloud, share the cloud link with them.
so easy, so good. Okay,
Or AirDrop. AirDrop is great too.
yes, we do like AirDrop.
Yeah.
I mean, there's WeTransfer, but that's a whole other thing.
It's a total other
It's a
thing,
whole
yeah.
other thing. But for folks who want to know anything new about Weruva, they should just stay tuned to your Instagram. Is there anything
Yeah.
else you'd like to share coming up? Exciting for Weruva?
Exciting for Weruva. We are this past year and a half, we came out with freeze dried. That was really awesome for us. And it's like it's not raw. That's the thing. It's just not raw. It's fully cooked, freeze-dried food. So
Okay.
it has the capabilities of being left out for hours. It has the capabilities of being rehydrated or not rehydrated. And it's really, really tasteful and still of that mindset of obligate carnivore, low carb, low fat, high meat protein. We came out with a bunch of chewy crunchy treats this year, as well as lickable treats. Everyone likes a churro. Guess what? We got Putty Pops, all right?
Okay, we're gonna
We
gonna
got
be a
the
Putty
Putty
Pop.
Pops. Yeah.
Love it. That's cute.
And then I do have exclusive from Thailand where it's manufactured. That's where we're manufactured on purpose. If you want to talk about Thailand, we could talk about Thailand. I have these exclusive pantry pours
Oh
from
my
our
God,
cats. Is it going to
so
focus? I don't know.
cool.
Is this what the internet does, right?
Yes, I think that's what the internet does.
So basically, this is like a bisque almost. It's like a topper. We've never done like a topper in this way. Like this is chicken and tuna bisque lickable cat treat. And these are brand new coming out this year. And I have like the exclusive ones. There's also specifically senior support.
I love that.
Yes.
That's so important.
Yeah. So it's going to have the right amount of vitamins, minerals, fat, whatever that a senior might need to increase their eating, increase their hydration, etc. So yeah, these are very exciting.
So and for folks who this episode drops on March 5th, which is the day of our cat lady fur tea at Catbaret, but it's Cat Lady's a mindset. Anyone can be a cat lady if you love cats. Yeah. But Weruva, you all have, Amy, you're going to have a raffle prize giving away a year of Weruva. You're also going to have some fun, maybe I don't know if you're going to have Putty Pops. I think last time you did, or you had some fun.
Yeah, we had Putty Pops last year. I think what I'm sending is our Tootsies, which are everyone's going to get a package of our crispy treats, our crunchy treats,
Thank you.
which are only under 2 calories per treat. It's our response to like greenies and stuff like that. And they're made in the U.S., so super tasty. And yeah, we're going to give away a year's worth of Weruva. I'm going to have an individual raffle basket thing for it. I'll be there hanging out. You can ask me
Yeah.
questions. Yeah.
That's amusing. I can't wait. I hope a lot of people listen and then see you at the show. It's
I know,
so
they'll be like,
timing.
are you
That would be
on the internet? And yes, I am. I am on the internet. But yeah, following
You're on the internet a
Weruva.
lot.
Yeah, following Weruva at Weruva, Weruva. Online is the best way to have updates and talk to me personally. So
Perfect. And she'll answer your messages. So
I will. It might take 24 hours, but I will.
that's pretty
Yeah.
good. Well, thank you so much for chatting with me, and I'll see you next Thursday.
Yes, I'll see you then. Thanks, Gemma.
And that's a wrap for this episode of Tails and Tassels. So if you have any questions, comments, or just want to say meow, feel free to send us an email at tailsandtasselspod@gmail.com. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review our podcast. Also, join our community on Instagram at Tails and Tassels Pod for more updates and behind-the-scenes fun. See you next time, kitty cats.